Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Authorities, thank you very much for having invited us to this event, and thank you for coming so numerous here. Indeed, the title of the presentation I was given is broad. I know we are running a little bit late, so I'll try to do my best in short time. As Mr. Butcher said this morning, innovation is embedded in Horizon 2020. So whenever we are going into an action within Horizon 2020, we will be thinking of innovation really from the outset. And in this slide, you can see a sort of broad picture of which are the main elements that incorporate innovation. We have the financial instruments, we have the grants, we have the SME instrument, we have a number of things on which I will be more detailed a little bit further. So one important thing is when we are talking about innovation is that we are reinforcing the outcomes. We're putting money in to do something, but we need to get something out of it. And this is why we are making a substantial support to innovation activities and to close-to-market activities, such as prototyping or testing or demonstrations or whatever. So this is an important component of Horizon 2020. We are also having activities which will help, or part of projects will help to establish the technical and economic viability, feasibility of a project. It is important when one speaks about innovation that we have demand for innovation. One of the important sides of the demand for innovation is public procurement, which was also mentioned. So this program also supports a number of actions which are there to make innovation demand stronger. Pre-commercial procurement, supports to networks of procurers, very important inducement prices which have a high leverage effect. And when we are talking of innovation, we are talking innovation beyond technological innovation, we are talking social innovation, innovation in services, and we are also trying in this program to develop new paths, new ways of getting new forms of innovation, which you can find namely in Challenge 6. And very important thing in innovation is to take into consideration the users, the end users of whatever we are thinking of putting in the market. And this is a very important also feature of our program. To innovate, we need, of course, to have industry with us. And this program, via the partnerships, on which I will not talk more because this has been already addressed by Mr. Butcher, also making a big effort with the SMEs by a number of instruments. I'll come back to them by this target of 20% of pillars of societal challenges and leadership in industrial technologies. So we want the industry, the SMEs, which are the biggest part of our industry in Europe, to have it in. And if we want industry in, and if we want the industry to do something about it, we need to provide access to risk finance, which we know is one of the major bottlenecks of innovation in Europe. One of the novelties of our program is the SME instrument. You might remember that a little bit more than a year ago, the European Council, our heads of state, told us, why don't you look at, in different words, but more or less they were saying, why don't you look at the SPEAR program, the SPEAR scheme in the United States, and think of something that could be adapted to our circumstances. And we came back with what we call the SME instrument, which is first targeted at all types of SMEs. They do not need to be R&D intensive, but they need to have a potential to grow, they need to be innovative, and they need to have ambition to internationalize. It's an instrument which will be applied in a bottom-up fashion within the realm of our societal challenges and the enabling technologies. And an important feature also is that only SMEs can apply. They can come with whomever they want. They can subcontract whatever they need, but the beneficiaries, the proposer, and therefore the beneficiaries, need to be an SME. And this instrument, like the American one, is conceived in 3 phases, which I will not go into detail, but roughly you have a first phase where you develop your idea, you do a business plan for that idea. Then, if the outcome of this business plan is positive, either you realize you don't need to do anything else but go to the market or buy intellectual property, or perhaps you realize you need to go and do some research or demonstration or testing, and therefore you go there into your second step. Once this work, substantive work, is done, then you go to the third step, where we are not funding anything, but we are facilitating the access to our risk finance instruments, which I'll come back to afterwards. And throughout the whole duration of the project, the SME in question will benefit, if it wishes so, of course, from coaching to become a more innovative enterprise, coaching to make sure that you better grasp the opportunities of the market. Why should an SME participate in such a scheme? Sometimes you say we have national schemes for SMEs. Why bother? But we think it's worthwhile bothering using this instrument because it will allow SMEs to play in the Champions League, if you allow me the term, where with few winners. But these few winners will have undergone a rigorous assessment and will get a sort of quality label with them, of course, apart from the money. They will also get, by participating here, visibility at European level, and it's important visibility in terms of even if our instrument, contrary to the American one, is not a procurement instrument, nevertheless, when an SME is successful in this scheme, it is a potential procurer for the public service. Why to participate? As I was telling you, you receive some coaching. You have certainly plenty of possibilities of networking with other businesses, with finance people, and with customers. And very important, the links that we are making with the financial instruments. As I'm sure you've seen, and Mr. Butcher has mentioned that before, within the industrial leadership part of our program, we have a part which is called Innovation in SMEs. There we are having two big activities. One is a group of activities aiming at support measures to make market analysis or to see how can we spin in technology into the SMEs or cluster analysis. And we have big important part of resources, nearly 300 million euros, to contribute to the joint program on SMEs, which is done together with Eureka. So the Eureka member states carry out their own national programs on SMEs. We come and top up, and we have a joint program for SMEs. And there, yes, we need to have R&D intensive SMEs. This is an important mechanism of public and private partnership, public and public partnership, which is aimed at leveraging resources, not only public via the direct joint implementation, but also by the token leveraging at the level of the projects some private funding. And we estimate that if we put on the table around 300 million euro, a little bit less, the members of Eureka will be putting a little bit less than 900 million euro. This is still under discussion, but we are confident that this is going to get to a successful end, because Eurostars 1 has been a great success, and everything is ready to launch the first proposals, a call for proposals at the beginning of the year. We all know that one of the most important bottlenecks for innovating is the shortage of finance, the difficulties in accessing to risk finance for SMEs to go through this so-called valley of death. So most of our programs, as you know, are delivered in terms of grants. But here in Horizon 2020, following a successful experiment, if I can say, in FP7, we have devoted nearly 4% of our program to risk-sharing instruments. So by that token, we give loans or guarantees. And we are also providing risk finance in terms of equity. And what do we want there? What we want there is to stimulate private investment for research and innovation. And we know also already from experience in our program as well as in the SIP program that the leverage effect of these instruments is quite high. Why are we doing that at European level? Because there are some risks that no single national scheme is prepared to do, no single bank, commercial bank is prepared to do. So here we are putting in place a number of, as I was saying, risk-sharing mechanisms which will facilitate addressing those risks. So we have a sub-program, a bunch of activities in which we are, via which we are delivering our financial instruments. We have around 2.8 billion euro, with one side of debt, one side of equity. I'll come back to the details of those. And around 1/3 of all these will be devoted to SMEs and R&D intensive SMEs and small mid-caps, which are an important target of our programs, as I was saying. How are we implementing that? As you know, we cannot give loans ourselves. We cannot participate in equity. So what we do is, at European level, we work with the European Investment Bank, the European Investment Fund for SMEs, and in turn, they make call for expression of interest, or we're doing ourselves to have also intermediaries in the member states, so that the SMEs do not need to go to Luxembourg, and they do not need to go there already now, that they have their banks in their own country and in their own region. On the debt side, what we have? We have loans and guarantees for investment in research and innovation, which are targeted, so a bunch of instruments which are targeted at mid-caps, so up to 3,000 employees, to larger companies, to public-private undertakings and other entities. And there we are talking about loans which are above 7.5 million euro. But we are also having a service of loan and guarantees for SMEs and small mid-caps. And there we are talking of much lower amounts, of course. We are talking between 25,000 euro to 7.5 million euro. And we have an initiative which is under preparation, following the European Council of last June, I think. Our political masters realized, as we all know, that in this economic crisis, those suffering a lot are SMEs, and if we don't have SMEs, we don't have growth, we don't have jobs. And so they invited the Commission to think of ways on how to pull together the resources that we have in financial instruments in the COSME program, in Horizon 2020, and in the structural funds, the ESIF, as we call them now. And this, of course, it's done on a voluntary basis, so member states that do want to invest in this joint instrument will do that with their own structural funds, and we will put on the table some topping up from Horizon 2020 and COSME. And this is devoted for SMEs. The details need to be worked out yet, because we still don't know how much the commitment from the member states. The important thing is that they will be sharing more easily the risks that we are addressing. So much in the debt side. In the equity side, we are aiming at mainly early stage finance, spin-offs in our program, because in COSME, they are addressing the growth stage of the company. And there we are talking about investment of funds or in funds of funds, different ways of addressing equity, and will not enter into details. But the companies, depending on their business, depending on their stage, depending on what they want to do, they will have to choose, they will have the possibility to choose between having loans, guarantees, or rather having equity. And we are also thinking, because as we were saying some minutes ago, we have plenty of ideas, plenty of good knowledge which is not put in the market. We are trying to design a facility for technology transfer. And there we are thinking of what to do with all these results that are there and are not exploited. And we are trying to design an instrument for technology transfer. We are also having here, apart from the bulk, which are the instruments, the loans and the equity, we have designed a number of supporting activities which are important to help beneficiaries to assess the bankability of a project, to see the investment readiness, to meet supply and demand of capital, services to beneficiaries that afterwards they will use it with their own resources. And we have a broader program, which is a bit smaller, but never mind, it's a broader program which is well articulated with ours, which is the COSME program, which is the continuation of SIP in the part which is not innovation. And there we have a different focus. In Horizon 2020, we are talking about, our guiding principle is excellence, is innovation, is growth. In COSME, it's more the support to the favorable conditions of the SMEs, whether they are innovative or not, doesn't matter. In the design of our financial instruments, they also have debt and equity instruments, but we have articulated them in such a way that beneficiaries know. For the beneficiaries, it's not a problem. They will come and they will be sent to where they can be better served. But we are not using, we are not doing overlapping programs so that the efficient use of the resources is ensured. And we will have something in common, which is the European Enterprise Europe Network, which is a support network I'm sure you know, and I'm sure there is someone in this room belonging to that network. We'll be supporting to both programs, and we'll be ensuring that information about both is there, clarity on the different objectives is there, and clarity on the different targets of the programs is there. I'm going to stop here because I know we are short of time. Afterwards, if there is time for questions, I'll stop. But I will leave with you, with the Secretariat of this meeting, these websites for further consultation. But thank you very much.